What's going on?
What's up, everybody? Mikey here.
Chilling here with Mikey Railz, but don't call him Railz.
Mikey is fine with Slasher, because you know yours is just Slasher. Rather than going Slasher McSplitter, people just call you Slasher for short. People could call me Mikey for short. The whole Mikey Railz thing is making me look like I'm really a derailer of conversations, which I am, but I try to stay on track. Which we hope it's gonna happen. And what are we on track for today? What the hell are we talking about?
You had the idea for talking about what now?
Cartoons that we loved back in the days, and I also think that also could be cartoons like compared to now also, but maybe cartoons that we loved. I guess.
All types of cartoons.
All types of cartoons. Because I think that growing up, especially me, cartoons made our weekend. You know, that was the whole thing. You were home on a Saturday morning. It was all cartoons all day long.
Cartoons also used to make your school days. They would, like, you know, you would come home from school.
Oh, right.
You would come home from school. They'd be like
the afternoon cartoons.
Yeah.
Which would start right when you get home, and they would have those
stupid
messages.
Stupid ass G.I. Joe cartoon.
The more you know, the G.I. Joe had the G.I. Joe cartoon. Yes.
That cartoon was so stupid.
Actually, you know what's funny? When we just like 5 minutes ago decided to talk about this, I totally forgot about the G.I. Joe cartoon. Was that one of your favorites?
No, it wasn't. No.
You know what's weird? I don't know if it was one of my favorites, but I watched it religiously.
The toys was what got me into G.I. Joe.
Yeah, but the toys and the cartoon kind of went together.
But I wish I would have been able to read the comic books at the time, because that's another line of comic books.
Well, that would have been too much for me. Comic books, toys, and a cartoon.
My main thing is G.I. Joe's was the toys. The cartoons I found so
was second rate.
Stupid.
I used to like that
nonsense.
Yeah, but the only reason why the toys came about was because of the cartoon.
Yeah, because it was like a package deal.
You know, it was like the chicken and the egg. Yeah, something had to come first.
I think the comics, the toys, and the cartoon was like... That was kind of the main thing. For cartoons back in the day, you had to have, especially in the 80s, you had to have like some sort of toy deal involved with it.
And that's a great point you have. Also, most of the cartoons back in, you know, that everybody loved were toys, right?
From toy lines. Yeah, it was from toy lines.
Well, I was thinking the cartoons came first, like the Smurfs. Yeah,
they would do it around the same time. I don't know what.
And then the toys came out. Believe it or not, I know I'm gonna sound a little crazy here, but I had Smurf dolls. Smurf little things. I had like a whole Smurf village.
Well, my sister, she collected them, and she got much older than me. She's like, "You want these?
You want my Smurfs?
Yeah, why not?"
Wow, Smurfs passed down from generation to generation.
Yeah, I didn't care. Because I was like.
But Smurfs was a setting with a cartoon. Right.
Yeah.
Snorks, the Smurfs. I used to love the Smurfs. Gargamel.
I like the Smurfs better than the Snorks.
I agree with you with that, 100%. Snorks was like a knockoff. They were like a bootleg Smurfs. I agree.
They were like made by the same people, but it was just a complete knockoff.
With a nice theme song. But the Smurfs was a big cartoon for me, but Gargamel, of course, Papa Smurf, Smurfette, they had a lot of good characters. It was almost like the...
They had a lot of good characters.
Well, it was almost like the Snow White of like the dwarves. You had the dopey, dummy, whatever it was, clumsy. You had a clumsy Smurf, you had a smart Smurf.
You had the one who letter bombs everyone.
Jokey
Smurf. All he did was hand people letter bombs.
Jokey Smurf.
He handed people, he was like the Unabomber of the Smurfs.
The most respected one was Papa Smurf. Nobody messed with him. He was like the leader. That little guy would protect him from Gargamel. He would tell him, listen to me if you want to live.
But what other cartoons? Like old school cartoons?
Thundercats. I loved Thundercats.
Thundercats was a better cartoon than He-Man. He-Man was...
Thundercats versus He-Man. See, that's a debate. That's a debate. I don't know.
And the funny thing was, I collected the He-Man figures, but didn't collect the Thundercats.
Really? I collected both. Whatever my parents would buy me.
But I would, my friends had the Thundercats figures. I was like, oh, these are cool. No, these are real cool. But I didn't end up collecting them. But the cartoon of Thundercats, when I would watch it, was a million times better than He-Man. He-Man was.
We know it's funny. I think I had more, like you said, more He-Man characters. But what cartoon did I love more? He-Man or Thundercats? I guess it had to be He-Man, right? I mean, He-Man was a big thing. I mean, I had the Castle of Grayskull and...
You mean for the figures, yeah.
For the figures in general. I guess it all depends on how, what figures you collected the most. I did collect more He-Man over Thundercats, but I did have some Thundercats, though.
But the old school cartoons.
Right,
old school?
Well, that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about Disney from the 40s here.
Well, even that.
Well, I can't get into that. I don't know.
Can't get into that?
I didn't watch old school, like really. I mean, look, He-Man and Thundercats, or Voltron even.
Yeah, Voltron was a good cartoon.
Yeah, Voltron was
way better than.
You think it was better than both of them?
That's another thing too. Voltron. I wish I would have got more into Voltron when I was a kid.
Yeah, I was into Voltron. I love when they would assemble. Their toys were the most expensive because you had to buy each figure. They had the arms, and then, or you could buy the whole figure. I believe it was like $150 if your parents would spring for that crap. Because when we were kids, we would get some allowance, but for the most part, all the big stuff we would ask for on Christmas or birthdays. That was when most.
Did you actually like the G.I. Joe cartoons?
I did. Remember that they gave the lesson at the end. What was the line that they used to give? Now you know.
Yeah, we know.
And knowing is half the battle. G.I.
Joe. Yeah.
I don't know how somebody could love the characters like the Joes themselves, the action figures, but not love the cartoon. That's interesting.
Because the cartoon, they used to do such goofy stuff all the time. There was one.
One particular episode that really was
chewing gum. Cobra was trying to make.
It did get a little corny even when we were kids, but
get mind controlled by chewing
You're
gum.
right. You're right. They were trying to send their message through cartoons.
Oh, there's one with this guy growing giant vegetables, and they have to.
I'll give you a
fight off the giant vegetables. Come on.
Okay, you don't like some of the storylines. But one I think one action figure that I actually loved more than the cartoon was the Transformers. I liked it, but I used to love collecting the Transformers.
Okay, alright. I wasn't big into Transformers when I was a kid. Because when I was a kid, I got distracted by a lot of different things. So I was huge into G.I. Joe more than
You were really distracted as a child, I think.
All the entrances. All the cartoons. And
I can blindfold you with the dental floss right now.
And all the toys. Yeah, I was very distracted. So, I was always going around looking at different stuff and, watching different cartoons. But Transformers, the movie was...
Okay. The best cartoon movie ever?
It might have been.
Probably was, actually.
It might have been. And I wasn't huge into Transformers.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I was more of the action figures more than the cartoon. That was my whole thing.
Well, the movie.
Oh, yeah.
With the great soundtrack.
Optimus Prime and...
Optimus Prime dies.
Yeah.
Spoiler. Whoops.
Oh, please. Please. That's not saying JFK got shot. Spoiler. Give me a break. I mean, there's some spoilers. Well, I mean, there has to be a statute of limitation when it comes to spoilers. I would say if the movie's out for, a year? Some people are like, there's some people that get pissed off when they go, like, the movie's out for 10 years, Avatar. I was going to watch that one day, right? Give me a break. But not to derail the conversation, like,
no, you're right, though.
But yeah, I mean, come on now. There has to be a statute of limitations. When it comes out on DVD, I would say a year after that. Because you don't get to catch it in the theater, or DVD, or on demand, whatever. But anyway, yeah, Optimus Prime dies. But But yeah, I was a big action figure guy more than the cartoon itself.
For Transformers.
For Transformers, yes.
What are your favorite cartoons?
My favorite cartoon, let me tell you.
Looney Tunes, right?
I love the Warner Brothers and the Looney Tunes, yes, absolutely.
No, Warner Brothers was Looney Tunes.
It was the same thing, right?
Yes.
Right. And Woody Woodpecker was not part of that. But I wouldn't say Woody Woodpecker was the biggest instigator in the cartoon. Well, him or Bugs Bunny, they were a bunch of
the Jerry Seinfeld line right there.
Yeah.
He's an instigator.
Oh yeah, right. He was an instigator, right? Exactly. That's probably where I got it from. Indirectly. I'm not trying to steal Seinfeld's line, but yes, he was an instigator. But yes, I think my favorite Warner Brothers it'd be Yosemite Sam.
Alright, well now you realize that Looney Tunes has a huge roster of characters, right? That it's not just Bugs Bunny.
Foghorn Leghorn was part of that, right?
Yeah.
Yosemite Sam.
Elmer Fudd.
Elmer Fudd, yes.
Yes.
Nowadays it'd be like, Yosemite Sam. He was a gun-toting frick. He was going yeah,
he was rooting.
He never ran out of bullets, right? You ever saw him reload?
He was the rootinest,
was that his thing? The rootinest, tootinest, shootinest?
He screamed stuff like that all the time.
The rootinest, tootinest, shootinest. You also had was the Roadrunner and the Coyote.
Yeah.
And that was a good little segment.
Yeah, great roster.
Yeah, because during every hour, half hour, they would show like a bunch of different ones, right? Tweety and Sylvester, right?
Yeah, and the grandmother who owned them.
How many times did actually Sylvester eat Tweety, but like there was like feathers popping out? Their mother like, don't eat Tweety.
She was a good one too. The grandmother
would spit Tweety out, and the feathers. That Tweety got to be like a lot of trauma involved.
But what about newer cartoons from that?
Like South Park and Simpsons? That were great in the beginning, and I actually think South Park is still pretty great.
South Park is still pretty good.
With hints of, it's a hit or miss, But Simpsons kind of fell off.
I haven't been able to watch a Simpsons episode in a long time.
I have tried to watch a few, but they don't have the same.
That's a shame.
The same funny as it was back in the day when you had Mr. Burns, with all his craziness. But Simpsons is still going strong. Actually, the #1 longest running show of all time, and cartoon. But mostly cartoon. But Simpsons, it'd be interesting. But what about superhero shows like the Silver Surfer? What was it? The Amazing Spider-Man and Friends.
Super Friends.
It was the Super Friends.
Wait, which one are you talking about? Are you talking about the one with the... Meanwhile, back at the Hall of Justice. Are you talking about those ones?
What was the one where the Iceman used to go around and just fly?
Spider-Man and his
Amazing Friends was cool.
Amazing Friends, but there was the other one. The Super Friends. Like, they kept changing the name of it through the years. But the Super Friends was the Hall of Justice. They were the Justice League.
So that was the DC cartoon part of it.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, the superhero cartoons weren't really big, but they ended up coming up.
No, they did, because, later on they had Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah, well, Batman is still going strong with the animated series.
The very first one, though. That is probably my favorite. Okay. You want to talk about favorite cartoons? That's probably my favorite.
Batman the Animated Series?
Batman the Animated Series is probably my favorite cartoon of all time.
A Joker with a long chin?
Just the way they did everything in that. I loved it. I loved that show. And they had the X-Men. And then after Batman the Animated Series, like, Marvel started doing cartoons. Marvel and DC started doing more cartoons. Like, there was a great Superman one from DC.
I used to watch the Superman one, yes.
Where it was drawn just like the animation was just like the Batman cartoon.
Yeah, can't remember much about the storylines.
But the animation was exactly like.
But Superman being my favorite superhero character growing up, yes, I used to watch everything Superman. And it was always Superman or Batman, so DC probably holds the majority of what most people like to watch.
But what other cartoons?
Well, there was a bunch of cartoons. The Rambo cartoon, I'm not saying that's my favorite, but they did have a Rambo cartoon where he would do this, he would like tear up, like, you know, he would play that music, he would tie the boots, do the headband.
Put his knife in the sheath.
Nowadays, you're not going to have a cartoon where a guy is going out to try to kill a bunch of, like, refugees that are trying to cross over.
Rambo wasn't killing everybody in the cartoons.
Oh, he was more of a helper.
It's like going back to the G.I. Joe cartoons. Nobody died in the G.I. Joe. There was, like, things where, like, people got...
It was like assumption of death, like you had to...
G.I. Joe cartoon.
You had to assume they died.
But they would get injured, but like, oh, he's in a coma. Like in the G.I. Joe movie.
It wasn't like 70 Sam when he was just firing off bullets. Like they were killing people in Warner Brothers cartoons.
Oh yeah, it wasn't like you could put a double barrel shotgun in Daffy Duck's face, blast.
Rabbit season of duck season, right?
And all
his bill would shoot around, right?
Spins around and ends up on the back of his face. You can't. No.
That was a great debate though. Rabbit season, duck season? Rabbit season, duck season. Duck season, rabbit, fire, boom. And he would always wait until he heard it, right? Like he could have just fired the gun anyway. But that was great though, because Bugs Bunny used to trick a lot of people. Bugs Bunny was a jokester. He didn't play around. The Babyface Finster episode.
I like Bugs Bunny better than Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse was like there was a lot of cartoons.
Yeah, I wasn't big on the whole Mickey Mouse cartoon at all. You had
I'm not even talking about my current
Mighty Mouse. You had two.
Hatred of Disney. I'm not even talking about that. I'm just talking about Mickey Mouse.
You had Mighty Mouse and Underdog. I don't know if Underdog was a cartoon, but Mighty Mouse. Here I come to save the day.
They're not Disney.
No, right, but the cartoons in general.
I like Mighty Mouse though. Mighty Mouse. I do like Mighty Mouse.
What was the one where it was a dog named Yuck and you used to have a dog house on his head because he was so ugly? When he would pull off the dog, I'm probably going way back. But yeah, there was a dog that was so ugly that he would scare people when he lifted up his dog house. That was his superpower, believe it or not, which again, you're not going to see nowadays. Just like you're not going to see a gun towing. Yeah.
I never saw that.
Yeah, I think the dog's name was Yuck. I'm not joking. We'll look at it. I know, we're just shooting the pile here, but no, I remember that, and we'll look up that. But no, I think if you want to talk about my favorite cartoon, I guess it would have to be either. I'm gonna go no. Well,
not Looney Tunes.
But Looney Tunes in general, I would consider yes. But if you want to talk about one specific one, first of all, Looney Tunes has a wide variety of characters. I mean, you would have to break it down to character then. If you want to say my cartoon in general, yes, it would be Warner Brothers. It probably would be because they had so many different characters. I mean, the Coyote, every time something used to come on, I used to love it. But I think if I had to be independent cartoon, I would have to go either He-Man or Thundercats. I used to love both of them. Thundercats, oh, like, yeah, I remember how jumping up and down like a madman. Yeah, same thing with He-Man. Give me the power.
Yeah, He-Man.
Oh, who was your favorite cartoon villain then?
My favorite cartoon villain?
You got Gargamel, you got Skeletor.
You know what, I gotta say, I think I like the Smurfs cartoon better than I like the He-Man cartoon.
Really? So you must have hated the movie then.
Gargamel was pretty funny. Gargamel was a jackass.
Gargamel was a bit of a jackass, yeah.
Not a bit, yeah, he was...
Yeah, he was really creepy too.
Yeah,
going after little Smurfs.
trying to play all evil, but you're just a moron.
How many times did he have trying to make a Smurf soup? Like he had a bunch of them in like the brew, and he had like a cat with him, right?
Azrael,
right? He always tried to eat those Smurfs.
He's like Inspector Gadget.
Inspector Gadget.
Inspector Gadget used to have their villain was Dr. Claw.
Yes.
You just saw his hand and his cat. He was like, I'll get you next time.
Which I think was that cartoon was a knockoff of Get Smart, but yeah, Inspector.
Yeah, but it was the same. It was the same guy doing the voice, right?
Okay. Well, it sounded. Was it?
Was it?
I don't know, but he sounded just like him. Okay, Chief.
Yeah, I think it was.
Inspector Gadget was a cool cartoon because it was a very it was a good theme, like the Inspector Gadget. That was cool. I forgot about that. Nothing. I used to watch like every single episode of Inspector Gadget. Go Gadget Arms.
And his niece used to run around helping him in every mission. His niece and the dog.
Oh man,
He was a moron. If it wasn't for those
dog.
two, he'd have been dead by the very first episode.
Yeah, Inspector Gadget. Yeah, no, those are all good ones. Those are all good ones. And you know what's funny is that, it would have to be either He-Man or Thundercats, I guess. Or something like that. Also superhero cartoons. But South Park right now is my favorite because that's the only cartoon I really watch. And Archer. I watch Archer too, but...
I haven't caught up on Archer.
Because it got lame. Let me tell you something. It got really lame after because the original in Archer, their group was called ISIS, and they changed that because of the ISIS terrorists. They had to. But once they saw, it's funny because
I was wondering, like, what are they gonna do after this?
Yeah. It's like did ISIS were they fans of Archer, and they started whining like, oh my God, ISIS.
Is not an original. ISIS is used throughout a lot of stuff. But now it's just more along the lines of more popular with one group than anything else.
Yeah. Right. Like if you had a parent that actually named their child Ice, hey, little ISIS. No, it's not gonna work like that. Then you get the kid killed, or he becomes the leader. I mean, his name is ISIS for Christ's sake.
Right.
That's pretty dark. But anyway, but looking at cartoons, a lot of stuff that they did.
Beavis and Butthead.
Beavis and Butthead! Oh my God! Beavis and Butthead. Well, here's my thing with Beavis and Butthead.
I liked it.
I'm not gonna say I loved it.
It was dumb humor, but it was good for what it was.
The problem with Beavis and Butthead is that they didn't have enough animation. It was more music than anything.
Yeah, but it's still.
They were pretty much just critics of music. But when they did
they had their little outdoor skits all the time.
When they did those outdoor skits, that's what I loved the most. But when they would watch the videos, and these are all videos. First of all, Beavis and Butthead was mostly a video cartoon. It wasn't really supposed to be a actual cartoon. But eventually they started seeing that it started almost like The Simpsons started on
a thing called Liquid Television. Do you remember the thing they used to have called Liquid Television?
No.
They had different cartoons on it. That's where they had the Eon Fox cartoon from.
Well, it was almost like The Simpsons starting on the
Tracy Ullman show.
Yeah. But Beavis and Butthead, when I first started watching, it was look. I love the Beavis and Butthead. I wish they would have continued doing some. I know they tried to make a comeback with it, and it didn't go so good. The movie was great.
I like the movie, but I still like the show better.
Roller coaster of life. And is that guy from King of the Hill the same guy?
Yeah.
Right.
That's basically what made him.
he got a spin-off. That guy got a spin-off show.
King of the Hill made him. No.
Well,
not the character. The guy who made Mike Judge. The guy who made the shows.
But the King of the Hill guy is the same guy.
No.
So it was based on him.
Hank Hill is not the same guy. Yeah.
They masturbated in my trailer. Remember that whole thing or whatever they did. Whatever.
I wasn't big on King. I really wasn't big on King of the Hill.
No, neither was I. I was talking about the movie.
I've seen a lot of episodes of it. Did you like that show, King of the Hill?
No. Like I said, I wasn't big on King of the Hill. I was more of a Beavis and Butthead fan, but that was a cartoon that didn't last for long anyway. That you really can't put that into the mix of legendary cartoons.
Yeah,
you have to be one.
No, you can. I think you can.
Beavis and Butthead.
I think you can. For the 90s, I definitely think.
I guess there'll be a lot of people that would agree with you. I wouldn't put it into my favorite category, but it'll be up in there in the pantheon, so to speak.
I'm not just talking about like kids' cartoons, because I wasn't. I mean, yeah, there were kids who probably saw it when they shouldn't have been watching it because
absolutely.
Their parents had their backs turned.
Fart. Slots. She said slots. The movie was great. I love the movie. I mean, you can't go wrong with that movie.
I really liked the stupidity on the show.
I mean, Demi Moore's performance in that movie. I think she played the woman that was holding the weapon. But remember the guy goes, "I want you to do my wife, kill her or whatever." Yeah, he wants us to do his wife. Those guys never got what they actually wanted to. That was their whole goal. But no, the cartoons. I would say they digressed over the years, no? As far as intelligence goes, because they had a lot of creative intellect, but now they kind of like, especially when it comes to kid cartoons, you have SpongeBob, which there's like a following of that. You have Dora, which people love. But there's no really big cartoons nowadays, not on the networks. You have to have cable to watch the cartoons.
Yeah, there's not, like, Fox, ABC, CBS, they don't bother to put stuff. They used to.
No.
They used to put a lot of cartoons on in the morning.
No, for nothing. I sleep in on Saturdays. Do they have cartoons on like a regular network channels in the mornings? Probably something, no?
I don't think no. Nope.
Did they ever make a Fraggle Rock cartoon?
Maybe.
Because I was a fan of the Fraggle Rock. Time to get away. Worries for another day.
Muppet Babies.
Muppet Babies. Oh, right. Yeah. What about DuckTales? Like those kind of movies.
Oh, DuckTales? Oh,
you a big DuckTales? Woo!
Don't get me started on DuckTales, man. Yo, I love Duck. Alright, everyone goes so crazy about Disney. Disney. Talking about all the movies. All the movies.
That's the
and all
big
that.
thing. Disney
Now,
Plus.
my favorite thing ever from Disney was the DuckTales show. That's my favorite ever thing. Ever.
It was
all
cool.
Time from Disney.
Yeah, DuckTales was big.
Yeah, DuckTales was probably one of my favorite cartoons.
Yeah, it was big. That was a big one. It wasn't one of my favorites. I liked it, but it wasn't my favorite.
Actually, around the same time too as Tiny Toons.
Yeah, Tiny, they're Toony, they're all a little loony. Yeah. Yeah, the Tiny Toons.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Another brand of cartoon. Nowadays, the cartoons are not really animation like that written anymore. They're pretty much just like Pixar type cartoons. But yeah. So to sum it up, what would be your favorite cartoon of all time? I would have to go with He-Man. Or you like G.I.
Maybe Batman the Animated Series. Maybe. But then like I have to also like throw the comedy ones into the mix, like the Looney Tunes and Tom and Jerry.
I think I would really have to go with He-Man. Cause I used to get fired up.
Yeah.
He-Man or Thundercats. I know, it's debatable. But I don't know. I liked a lot of them. I like G.I. Joe when you didn't, so. What could I tell you?
But me and Mikey will be back another time talking about some random stuff.
Yeah, just random stuff. I mean, we literally came up with this subject like 5 seconds before we hit record. So we're not really prepared with this stuff. It's not like we're doing our research.
Nah.
But we will be back.
I was using my brain to think about cartoons through my lifetime. So
as soon as we come over to random thought, we'll hit the record button.
Yeah, sure. Have a good night, folks.
Have a good night.